So, just finished day one of auditions, and unfortunately, I got cut on the first day. So, that's obviously very disappointing, but, kind of gave a good perspective on some things and, gave me a little taste of being a big fish in a small pond, or making me realize that I was, and, seeing what other people are capable of. That's kind of crappy because, most of them had years of proper instruction and stuff like that in their specific arts and had auditioned more than one time and stuff. And, coming from a province of 140,000 people with 35,000 in my city, we have nothing like that. I had to pay for private lessons to learn how to dance and do adult gymnastics once a week to try to teach myself how to tumble, and then try to teach myself everything else. And whereas they're getting proper instruction several times a week, some of them within high school as half their day, and, other than parents own gyms and stuff like that, and it's just kind of disappointing because that, and I feel like I could have done better. A lot of this, there's a few skills that I didn't do, but I didn't think they were make or break skills for my specific discipline that I had chosen. But there was also a large number of people that had chosen the same discipline as me, and a lot of them that have come more prepared. I had chosen partnered hand balancing as a base, and I didn't have a flyer, and there were several people that had auditioned that had both a base and a flyer and had been practicing for years together, and basically already had an act ready to go and stuff like that. It was my impression that it would be more of a place that I would learn the skills that I need, coming in as as an able body, ready to learn. But I think it's much more refinement of already pre-designed skill sets and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting to see, but it's you can use it as motivation, I guess, and it's obviously very disappointing, and I'm not happy about it, but you can learn and move on. Maybe this isn't the calling for me. I met lots of cool people, and got to exchange stories with them and Facebook contact and stuff like that. So hopefully, I can still continue to follow their journey as well. Some of them had got to make it past the first round and stuff like that. But I can't beat myself up too much because there were 110 people auditioned or so, and there would only take 15 guys and 10 girls of those that did, and a lot of them had been in this program that basically they're training at the school for a year and already know all the staff and have been preparing for a year for their audition, so they pretty much already were all guaranteed those spots. So it's kind of unfortunate,
I'm going to turn off that fan over there.
Okay. Alright, so it is now Sunday, and I finished my audition on Tuesday, so I thought I would give you kind of a little run through of all the different activities that we did and kind of how the structure of the audition looked like. So there was about 110 people that auditioned, and I guess about 40 of them made it all the way through, but they're only going to take about 10 girls and 15 guys because the school is pretty much at max capacity. So when we started off, we all kind of got put into 5 different groups, split up alphabetically by name, and then we were all brought upstairs kind of into this large kind of open backstage area. It looks similar to behind the curtains if you've ever been on stage at a performance or something like that. Just the large black flooring, basically, and they rolled out some tumbling mats. And so then what they did is take, again by alphabetical name, group 1, in to do a tumbling segment as we all went group 1, 2, 3, and went through a certain series of movements. So it got progressively more difficult, and if you couldn't do any of these movements rather than just attempt them, they wanted you to say pass. So it started off with 2 forward rolls, jump, half turn, and 2 backwards roll. Then it went from a handstand to a forward roll, jump, turn, to a backward roll to a handstand, and then it was a cartwheel, 4 cartwheels. Then it was a front handspring, and then a back and front walkover, and then it was a front flip or a front tuck and a back tuck, and then it went from round off back handspring to round off back handspring back tuck, or round off back tuck back layout, whatever you want. And then it was up to us to do whatever skill we wanted without any hands. So I chose to do just a tricking style aerial. And I did all these skills. I kind of screwed up on my back handspring because I got too high. It was almost more like a back whip. The hands didn't really need to touch the ground, and kind of was more of an afterthought, and I think I lost points that way. And I didn't do the front and back walkover. Just not a skill I had learned, so I didn't want to try it in front of a bunch of experts on my first time. The whole thing was very similar to what I imagine America's Got Talent kind of thing looks like. Like we were brought out into the rooms in our groups, and it was dead silent. There's about 8 judges sitting there, and you got your runway or whatever. You got 1 attempt to go through it. We were all taken through a warm up and stuff and get to kind of get the feel of the flooring first, but you're pretty much going in dead silent. You loop back around, start again, go for the next one. You only got 1 shot at it, so some of them were pretty good for me, but they definitely weren't as good as I could have done, and I was kind of disappointed because the nerves definitely got to me a little bit, but you know, I did the best I could. So I forget if we had lunch at this time or after the next segment, but the next segment was the flexibility portion. It was done in a very similar manner. All the groups were pulled out one at a time, and we were given a very specific routine of exercise that we were supposed to do. So it started off front pike, so we had to show our alignment this way, and then go down to the pike position, show how far we could get our hands beyond our feet. Then we went to straddle, opened up, and went down for a pancake to show how flat we could get. Then we went front splits, both legs, middle splits, and then we had to lean down, which is something slightly different than the way I'd been used to doing middle splits. So I'm not sure exactly how I did with that one. I can't really tell, but I tried to kind of force it into as deep of a position as I could. And then we did back bridge, 3 different variations where we got to go down in the middle. We first just did a normal back bridge, then second we tried to show shoulder extension as much as possible, or your arms behind your head as much as you could, and then you were trying to kind of decrease the distance between your feet and your hands as much as possible. And I found that difficult because, one, that is not my strength. Back bending is something I need to work on, definitely, for sure, but the floor was super slippery and my hands were sweating just because of nerves, so I kept like sliding out and I had to walk myself back, and I'm sure they saw this and just assumed it was a weakness or something like that. I definitely didn't do as well as some of the others in the group, but you know, I didn't think it was a big issue because I had auditioned for the base of hand balancing. It was more of a strength role anyways. So that went pretty well, I guess. I don't know, as well as it could have. Oh yeah, and then we had to do a back bridge down and back up 2 times if you could, so like drop down to back bridge and back up. I passed on that one, and then you did over splits if you could, and we also did lying on the shoulder on the ground, face down the mat, and pulling your arms up as much as you could to show shoulder flexion, basically. And yes, we did all that, and then we had lunch, I think, with them. And so that was that, and then we did the strength segment, which was basically just if you could do 15 reps or as many as you could of push-ups, tuck jumps, 2 sets, toes to bar, chin-ups or pull-ups, your choice in the movement, and push-ups, if I didn't say that. And that was no problem, no difficulty with any of those. So I got through all that, and then what I originally had thought and what was written on the page is that we're doing the dance and acting the next day. But this was probably around 7 or so, and probably a little earlier, maybe like 5. And then we started doing the dance and acting, and by this time we're all fairly exhausted, right? We've been there since 7:45. So they bring us up, and we do the same thing through groups. We have to go up into the room. They show us a few different movements to do along the diagonal. So we do this to a diagonal. We had chinés, grand battement, and what was the other one? I forget what they're called. I just called them gallops or something like that, but it's where you step and hop up with one knee, basically. So we did all those basically on the diagonal, and it was to a live drum beat, which is something I've never done before, but I think I did fairly well, at least in compared to several of the other members of the group. I think I was one of the stronger dancers there, even though it's not my primary background. I know I may have had more training on that kind of thing than most people, because he did say very good on my chinés, which I was surprised. But yeah, so that went well, and then we had to do an improv across the dance floor, and I'm not a natural dancer, and I've never done any improv, so that was quite new. I don't really know what I did. I just was super nervous, just trying to get into the beat and feel it, and then I kind of did a little bit of a ballet thing. I kind of screwed up at the end, and then they wanted to see multiple levels, so I got down to the floor, did a little bit of break dance, just kind of coffee grinder, and I did some of the lizard crawls and stuff like that. I don't know how well it was to the beat, but I was just super nervous and just went through it. And then after we leave, we had to go and learn a long segment of choreo multiple times with very little room. And so as we were trying to memorize this, then we were pulled in back to the same room as groups, and we were given a scenario right before we went. We had about like a couple minutes to kind of figure out which one we had to do, about 5 different scenarios to act while traveling across the diagonal using words, body language, and just moving and trying to act out this scenario. There were things like you clean off your car and you find out it's not your car in the snow, and you're walking along the desert and you find a cell phone, or you walking along and you find someone's wallet, and that was the one I got. So I did that, and I thought I did fairly well. I was trying to be a little humorous, didn't get too much of a response, but I don't know, you're pretty exhausted at that point in time anyways, it's hard to be funny. And then I spoke loudly and stuff like that, and that's something I learned from a little bit of acting experience that I've done. And just kind of went through, and I felt fairly confident with all the things that I did. I knew I was one of the stronger members of my group in the overall category. But yeah, so that was it, and we sat in the cafeteria then and waited an hour. So it ended up being over 14 hours by the whole thing, or by the time the whole thing was done. And and then I was just absolutely exhausted, not sure how I was going to do the next day because it was going to be more of the same. and then they brought up on the television screen all the people that were invited back for the next day, and I didn't have my name come up, and nor did most of the members at the table I was sitting at. There's only one of them actually from Colombia that did. He was a Diablo. He auditioned for the Diablo role, which is too bad I didn't get to see him do it, because I guess he was really good and stuff. And yeah, and it was disappointing because everyone there was from all around the world, super cool people, and it was kind of the first time that I felt I was in a group of my true peers, because where I come from, I'm pretty much the only one that does or has interest in what I do, so it's the same thing. So I really had to kind of track out a lot of these things by myself, and teach myself a lot using some of my backgrounds. So I was disappointed that I had to leave and not get to know all these people better that I connected with over the long day. But I was very happy that I went, and I really want to do it again, I think. Even though I was one of the older members there, I just feel like now I've finally got a taste of what it's like. And all the people that had gotten past had auditioned previously that I was aware of. I'm sure there might have been some that hadn't. But I think another issue was that I knew of 5 other people that auditioned for the same role as me. And they were probably better suited for it, to be honest, and had more experience doing it. So I think if I picked another role that I was better prepared for, probably not a partner role unless I get someone in the near future to work with, it would be better suited for that. So I have to kind of do my research, hopefully go back to the drawing board, and come back with a better product, and now I know what to expect. But yeah, if you guys have any questions over the whole experience, or anything similar, I'll be glad to answer it. Hopefully this was kind of interesting, a little bit informative. I know it's a little bit different than my typical videos because it's pretty much just me talking to the camera, but don't worry, I will be coming back with similar videos to the ones I've done previously, showcasing movement, teaching little bit things, and also we have a big project in the works too, so stay tuned for that. Oh yeah, and while I'm on the topic, I am now in the Toronto area and hopefully going to be doing a meetup soon, so if you're in the area or know anyone in the area that's interested in the same kind of stuff as I am, then let them know, and we can do a little meetup, plan on something. I'd like to meet as many of you as I possibly can, so those that are within driving distance, feel free to come. I'll announce kind of what the plan is after I get a few more responses and stuff like that, and I get a little bit more settled in to my place here, and figure out a venue and stuff like that. So just let me know, and yeah, just shoot me messages and stuff like that, and that would be great. And like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more content, and yeah, so on and so forth.